exciting session of the Gen weekly meeting. As you all know, we start off with the gratitude corner. So let's get to the business of appreciating, of offering our gratefulness to people, things, animate and inanimate, that have affected us in a positive way in the last 1 week, which have added value and made our life worthwhile. So, Alifia, your turn first. 30 seconds, please.
Hi, I'm super duper grateful for our Gen leaders. We're meeting today. We have the big fat meeting. We've got vision casting for next year coming up today. So, okay, sorry. That's the YouTube this thing coming up. But yeah, so I'm super grateful for our Gen leaders. We've got that energy. We've got 5 years done and we've got another 5 years to go. So we've got this big planning happening today. So I'm so excited and I'm grateful for the leaders to coming together today.
Thank you, Alifia. Gaurav, you go next.
Morning, everyone. I am grateful for this morning, and I am pragmatic about how we are moving forward. Grateful for the family I have, the friends I have, and the good health and good humor that I have, if I can say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Mr. Ajit,
Good morning.
good morning.
I am thankful that this group is taking an interest in my project, and some people have reached out individually. I'm thankful to them, and I'm thankful to all of you who have a bit of care and concern for me as a filmmaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ajit. Ronald, you go next.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm grateful to Bharat, who has been constantly following up, not surely following up, but at least reminding about the meeting. And also, Anu, for you being in touch with me on a regular basis. Once in a while, Gaurav also. So thankful to all of you. Thank you. After a long time, I'm attending this meeting now.
You should be a regular now, Ronald.
Inshallah.
Okay, Bharat, you go next.
Okay, first of all, grateful for the wonderful weather here in Hong Kong. And today is a weekend. I posted some pictures on Facebook. I'll post the link here. Grateful for being able to spread the positivity every day to work. This week, AI helped me count every day how many good mornings I wished. And the highest was 350. So with that positivity, I see even a lot of Chinese do not want to interact, but at least 80% responded. Many with good mornings and many with smiles. So bringing that gratitude to everyone, keep smiling. Good morning, Saturday. Good morning to everyone. Give me a smile.
Bharat,
Good
I have a
morning,
question
Bharat.
for
Good
you.
morning. We'll take the question a little later, Gaurav. Let's finish off with the gratitude offerings. Mr. Klaus, your turn now.
Good morning. This morning, I'm especially grateful for old-fashioned technology, so-called hot spotting on old mobile phones, as we had yesterday in our building a power failure, and ever since the internet connection was not restorable. So I would have had to run around finding places, sitting in public domain, and as Dubai is getting cold, as Alifia already said, I would have frozen my feet off. So now I'm sitting happily at home, drinking a cup of tea and joining the session. Good enough reason to be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Klaus. Suryakant, I can call upon you if you put on your, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I am grateful for morning. Ja- I'm grateful for everything. So, my staff, my mom, dad, my wife, who have been there supporting me throughout these times. Okay, thank you.
Great. Great. So, with this, I think we have taken care of everyone, and I'll end this gratitude session with my offering. As usual, I always say I'm grateful for everything that happens in my life because what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. There are a lot of things that are going up and down, a lot of things that I am affected in a negative way, but then I see the silver lining in the dark cloud, and that makes me move on, do better things, try my best. And each one of you have been the reason for that. Thank you very much to this entire room. And now, with this, I hand over the virtual podium to Gaurav. Gaurav, the podium is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another session of Global Entrepreneur Network. We are on the 22nd of November. Some good things have happened over the last week. One of the things was the air show is going on in Dubai. I was fortunate to be invited and I attended the air show, saw some fantastic air displays. Unfortunately, yesterday, what I had seen day before, a startling and fascinating display, turned out to some tragedy. Aircraft from India, Tejas, crashed, and very unfortunately, one of the pilots lost his life. So this is life, where one day you have great things happening, people are over the moon, and one day a tragedy strikes and a human life is lost. So this is a reminder for us that there'll be highs, there'll be lows, and one has to be equanimous in the face of surprises, in the face of tragedy, even. And that's the life of an entrepreneur, where we say, today is a new day, and we will try and make things better for people around us, for our customers, for our connections, for our associates, and for ourselves. On that note, let me share with you, for people who are joining us after a while, about who we are and what we do. So we just had the Gratitude Corner, supported by Anupama, who's been doing this for many, many months. Thank you, Anupama. And this is us. We are Global Entrepreneur Network, your gateway to global business. We offer you global reach, strategic partnerships, and business expansion. We started our journey in September of 2020, and we've seen a lot of highs and lows. However, given that we are united in our purpose, we march on and are pragmatic about a future that awaits us, where we are able to make a difference. We rise together through openness and trust, and we believe we are shaping a future that we are able to create through cooperation and connection. Our purpose is to connect entrepreneurs worldwide. We envisage we will be impacting over 10,000 entrepreneurs around the world in the next 5 years. We are in 2025, so by 2030, we endeavor through our efforts, we'll be having an impact on 10,000 members. And our mission is to build this platform for global reach through online networking and collaboration. Our values: generosity, knowledge sharing, collaboration, accountability, and integrity. In the last few months, this is what we've been up to. We've had various themes play out, and we've been fortunate to have some global uh, experts talking on, for example, in April, we had technology, software, and digital services as our theme. In June, we said healthcare, wellness, and medical services. We had 4 speakers that month. In June, we also participated in the 4th Business and Investors Summit. In July, we had the theme of education, training, and professional development. In August, it was financial services, investments, and insurance. In September, it was hospitality, tourism, and entertainment. In October, we had our friend Klaus talk about sustainability, because that was the month for green technology and sustainable solutions. In November, it was professional services, legal, accounting, consulting. We've had 2 speakers so far, and our 3rd speaker for this month to talk on professional services, legal, accounting, and consulting. We are fortunate to have my friend Klaus Misera, who will share with us about sustainability and consulting, how things can be played out more effectively and in a sustainable manner. So I will proceed further. This is our leadership team. We have Alifia as our president and co-founder. I am the other co-founder, and I head up operations. We have Sabri Rajan as vice president marketing. Anupama Parker is vice president digital transformation, and Bharat is VP for global growth. So this is our LinkedIn group. We have crossed 2,500, by the way. And on our LinkedIn page, we have over 1,500 people. This is our QR code. Should you want, you can scan it and be part of our ecosystem. This is how we will roll after this introduction. We will have the session where we will talk about professional services, and our friend Klaus will take us through this very interesting session. I'm looking forward to it. We will then have the business session led by Alithia, and we will close at 9:30. So this is how we are positioned. And for today's session, we are going to talk about an approach to strategy and issue-based consulting, consulting, advisory, coaching. And to do honors or share his perspective on this is the CEO and founder of GrowMe International. He is an academic, he is a thinker, he is a spiritual being. Join me in welcoming Klaus Misera. Klaus, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We have an overwhelmingly large number of people, so let's see how we can best use our time. And am I already able to share screen?
Let me allow you to do that. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So I believe, yes, I can. Some of you who have been on the sustainability session may notice I changed the color on the background of my slides.
Go for it.
So do you all have a green screen in front of you? Wonderful. Okay, it's the concept of consulting. I find for a large number of reasons very interesting, as I believe it has a lot to do with how people look at the world, starting from the point in time when a problem statement is given. And there's different things, ways, and approaches that one can use. And then on the other hand, who is not a consultant nowadays? So let's see if what I put together is sufficiently interesting to all of you who are on the call now. Starting with, what's the primary objective that we have in professional services? I personally believe there's one simple answer to that. It's to serve our clients. It's not about us, it's about our clients. And it's about doing for and to our clients what helps them get to, let's say, where they want to be. Although I believe we are in times where it is possible that somebody wants to be somewhere, and that might not be the best place to be tomorrow. So we will be talking about consulting in a business context. So I do not particularly give time to non-profit organizations, although they in themselves, for a number of reasons, have all the rights in the world to be supported. Some of the underlying principles certainly apply there as much as they do for commercial clients. So a business in simple terms, to set the stage in terms of what you think of when we say business and what I think of, is relatively simple. There is an organization where there are people, processes, systems, and use of resources, and that all put together in a coordinated way to produce or create value for the customers of that organization. That's in plain the base model of what a business is about. Doesn't matter what industry or what specific business model they have. That's the baseline, and I hope you can all share that and agree with me that this might be a good working definition for this morning. Should any of you have different views, please raise your voice. I trust most of you have your phones by your side. So I like you to use your phone, and once you have done that, I will take us to the results of what you will have produced.
Uh, Can you share the link because I'm not able to scan?
I'm going back to.
Ross is telling us to sign up to Centimeter.
That shouldn't be the case. Sorry for that. It is a public one. Okay, to avoid any hassle with playing around with that, let's do it on a vocal, verbal base. What are your views on?
If you want, we can enter the code if you want to.
Is there a code to enter,
Yeah, once we
Klaus?
sign in, you can give us the code.
What do you currently see?
It says enter the code to join.
Okay, so the
No,
scan of the QR code doesn't work.
it is working.
No.
I worked and I scanned and I put in my thing. You can try again, please.
I will scan again.
Yeah.
Yes, I see some of. Let's
So
say
you have
I
to
see
register
one first
first,
answer.
log in with the just for everyone, I'll let them know. Just
What are the
register,
key
sign in
priorities?
with your email or whatever, and then you scan the code again. It's coming to the first
Correct.
question.
Okay, sorry,
everyone
that is
ready?
not
Word,
what it
okay.
should be.
To provide value to its customers. Klaus, I
Yes.
am not able to kind of put in more than 20 letters?
There is a limit of how long the words or
25 letters.
answer can be, yes. And that's around 20 or 25. So I currently
Okay.
see exactly one answer. And I do not think that it's worth waiting too much time for
Okay, got it.
results to show up. Okay, now I see something else come up. Okay. There we go. So I shall change the way what I'm sharing. And let you see what your choices are. There we go. And here we are. You should now see your choice of responses. Do you see Mentimeter results
Yes.
on your screen? Wonderful. Anything, it may be verbal now,
Yeah.
to generate profits. Okay, go ahead. What would you like to add? Nothing? Okay. So to generate profits, profit, to provide value, solving a problem, to be sustainable, idea, structure. And in a way, at least some of these words have an underlying shared meaning, which is possibly to survive. One key priority of any business is to stay in business. And for some businesses, that implies provide value, presumably to customers, and to remain profitable. But surviving as a business is a key priority for any business. And if you look around globally, there are some businesses out there that have a significantly higher priority on generating profit than anything else. So when we engage with them as a consultant, we may be exposed to different reasons why they want to engage with us. So I will later on possibly come back to that slide and will now give you the next page in the presentation, which currently is a bit slow. When we think about what it is that customers have for reason to engage with us. So we go back into the presentation and have one more particular question. I hope you all see the green background screen again. To avoid any further problem, oh, sorry, I went one step too fast. I don't think we need to do the QR code and attempt to post. Please speak it out what you have on your mind. When, under what circumstances are businesses reaching out to engage with consultants? What are your thoughts why a company, a business seeks engagement of a consultant? Speak it out, whatever
If they
thoughts you may
have
have.
any challenges or if they have any transformative aspirations and they are not able to do it themselves, they seek expert advice.
Dealing with challenges and having transformative aspirations. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Anybody who wants to add, to share other thoughts on that?
For large corporates, they have to tick mark their training for consultancy. That's how. So That would be engaging with training for consultants.
They have to trademark their training. Okay. So you see the legal aspect of registering a trademark, yeah? That's what you're focusing on.
Also, update. What's the new thing happening? Update.
Why does that require a consultant? Why can't they do it with people working in the organization?
Expertise and experience, and
there we go.
basically, yeah. So if you're good at logistics, you will need an expert into speaking. Sales training will be into sales consultant. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anybody? So expertise and experience to come from outside in. Yep, thank you. Anybody else? Otherwise, I'm happy to just move on, being respectful to our time. A first set of thoughts that often are given. So to gain external expertise, to bring in expertise, I think these have been named. To bring about change, I think that comes close to transformative. Is anybody of you surprised to hear to do the dirty work?
Yes, I'm familiar with this.
Okay, is anybody
Dirty work.
astonished to see to do
So
the dirty work?
basically, Klaus, if I could put in, when the internal stakeholders or even the directors are not they are not comfortable, especially men are not comfortable in speaking something, they will employ the consultants to speak on their behalf.
So my question still is anybody astonished? It sounds so far that everybody is very comfortable with it. Nobody is astonished. Everybody is aware that there are certain engagements. Thank you. Thank you. That is an experience that goes way back, has nothing to do with the Middle East. Large organizations that could have been top 5 global banks started certain projects because they wanted to push through their own agenda. Owen says there was a team of powerful individuals in the organization, and they felt that to define and justify laying off of people in the course of a reorganization would be much better to be proposed and kind of structured by external consultants instead of saying, hey, that's our thought, that's where we want to go, because then they would have been in the line of fire. That was, and up to today, is a pretty common thing, a pretty common reason. Large-scale organizations take somebody from outside to actually execute the agenda that was already defined before the engagement started. So these type of things can strongly play a role. I personally like on this side for the word to provide objectivity. The reason why I kind of like that, there's a certain irony in my words, is it's very hard to create anything that would be objective, but to extend the range of voices is possibly what this objectivity aim can help to achieve. And that is what is most important. There is more specific reasons that often are named. And what you see on this page has been actually, if you like, the catch lines of customers approaching us, approaching me in the past couple of years about what they wanted to achieve, including the one we want ISO 9000, not really knowing what they wanted, but the word was there. Some had, our revenue numbers are stagnating. After so many years of successful growth, it's not happening anymore. Our profitability is dropping. Some even were aware that they were losing market share. Sadly, but not necessarily surprising, quite a few companies are not actually able to identify if they're losing market share or not, because they don't have the systems and processes in place. So these are often the immediate reasons given. The reasons we saw on the page before are often the ones which are motives more than reasons. Anything you like to add? Otherwise, I'm happy to proceed again for the sake of all our time. I don't hear voices, so we move on. I came across that, and when you look at what this here says, role of consultants in Dubai's business landscape. Any thoughts coming up on your mind? Is there something astonishing or even awkward?
No, this is kind of our understanding as well.
Gaurav, please review it more carefully. What is step one here?
Well, there are these companies that help register companies.
Yes,
That
thank you. And I believe
service
that we can
providers.
agree on. But this company puts self-interest above and before customer interest. You do not start by setting up a company, spending money before you know what and why and how. Step two is the minimum that has to be started way before step one. And if a UAE company registration as such is actually the best possible way forward, is not guaranteed. That's dramatically dependent on the business idea, the business plan, and the strategy to execute that. So step one and two are definitely in the wrong sequence here. And it helps to have an idea about your financial management in the sense of what's your financial model, what's your revenue model, before you actually say, and now we open a company here in the UAE and spend money on that. This is a very common thing, I believe, that people promote themselves as being able to do something without necessarily keeping the best interest of their potential clients on their mind. And that's something that I find an important aspect about acting as a consultant. Always we are there to provide value to our clients. And once we do that, we generate income for ourselves. This here shows what I would say a loose end in that concept. So moving forward, we can do that again on a purely vocal basis. What are key responsibilities of any consultant? What are we responsible for? Nothing. I'm smiling. What are key responsibilities of any consultant?
Well, consultants need to look at the customer needs and come in with their expertise to fulfill those criteria. They are subject matter experts. They proffer their opinion, they proffer certain strategies, which the customer then takes on and rolls out actions accordingly. So the consultant should feel responsible for outcomes that are beneficial to the customer, and he or she should be upfront with the various scenarios and share pros and cons of various strategies that he or she are asking to be implemented.
Thank you very much indeed, Gaurav. And if I may say so, I like your slightly revised wording more than what you said at the beginning. At the beginning, you were pointing a bit at consultants are subject matter experts who kind of give the answer or have the answer. And then you were talking about the primary responsibility of any consultant is they should feel responsible for the outcomes to work towards to be in the best interest of the customer. There is, again, today an enormous amount of people out there that are promoting something that helps them make money without too much consideration if any project they would be hired to do actually delivers true value for the customer. We currently see, for example, in the US, a drop of corporate deployment of AI systems from 16% down to 12%. There is so far, according to MIT studies, a humongous failure rate. The consideration under what circumstances, what kind of AI deployment might make sense, would have helped to identify maybe smaller scale projects and less spending, but more benefit to the actual end customer. And that's where I believe any consultant has to find himself or herself. Aiming at understanding the customer in all aspects of this context of the issue or the goal, and to take responsibility to working towards delivering answers. I would add, I'm not sure that every consultant is a subject matter expert across all the domains or facets of an issue or an objective that a customer may have. So having said that, unless anybody wants to say something, then please start speaking now. I'm moving on. Consulting, to some people, consulting is linked with the idea that the consultant or the consultants come in and give directions to clients. Now, I have what I believe to be a very simple consulting inquiry. And I know it's a very general one, but I trust you can all, one way or the other, relate to it and maybe share views. For a car, for a vehicle, 4 new tires shall be purchased. And somehow you are magically involved into the question how to decide what tires to advise. So what are your thoughts? What would you, in such a situation, offer as a first view, as a first opinion? How do you decide what tires to advise?
It depends on the road he's gonna travel, the size of the vehicle, how many passengers, what's the size of the vehicle, or
Plus,
what kind of terrain.
yes. So plus for me as a consultant, I would ask them what all processes they have put in place. I'm not a subject matter expert on tires. I would like to understand their process, have their to understand how the tires have been burned out or what are, as Alifia said, then there is a multiple things. So they have to build up a SOP, and I would be guiding and pointing them towards that SOP.
Okay, thank you. So you answered in a way that I was kind of hoping for, as fundamentally, without asking questions, one cannot seriously give any indication of an advice. And some of the questions that I consider, and thank you, Alifia, you kind of touched on that quite nicely. What is the quality of roads the car will be used on? How fast will the car be typically driven? And how much experience does the main driver, the main person using the car have? Also questions like around the weather conditions. Now, Bharat spoke about something under the premise it is a business asking that question. I left that intentionally open, as one of the things to understand is this on a private level or is it a company? And to introduce the concept of standard operating procedures, that's what I believe I heard you refer to, Bharat. Fair approach. somebody may say that goes beyond what they want in this very moment, but still the question is, how much do I understand? What questions can I ask? And what I try to show with this little example here is, you do not really need to be an expert, but you can collect information that can then be shared with experts, and these can then jointly come up with a recommendation. So sometimes the role of a consultant, I dare to say, is not being the one delivering the answer and having the answer, but the one who starts collecting information. And the more and open and wide the questions are, the more you may come across surprising bits and pieces of information. And certainly, I hope you all get the sense, directing a client can sometimes be the expectation of the client, but you may not always be in a position to do that. And then to have a discussion with the client about what you can do and how that is of value to them is possibly a key capability of a consultant. Anybody who wants to add anything? Does not seem to be the case. Then I move on.
Klaus, very simply, it's awakening self-thinking on the questions, where to find answers, one need to prod and bring people to start thinking that these are the questions I should be considering before I can take a decision on this.
Thank you. And you see, I believe the red text on that slide, being aware of your own assumptions and biases, and if you like, you can add the word and your own personal limits, being aware of them is most important. And you see that I also add and be aware of your own communication. In your words, you may presuppose answers. That may sometimes be something that just happens, but whatever you say will be listened to by other people. And sometimes even innocent, supposedly innocent, words can shape the direction of future discussion. And there's a sales as much as a consultant term, that is, manage clients' expectations. Anybody who wants to add anything? Otherwise, I'm happy to move on. Okay. A general approach to consulting. Is there a clear problem statement, or is the first step in the potential consulting engagement to actually create a valid problem statement? Does the problem statement allow to set a scope for an engagement? Is there potentially a need for a pre-study? And I have personally had situations where the pre-study was between 3 and 6 months before it was even possible to actually do the desired project to resolve what was defined as a problem statement. So there's multi-step and multi-phase contract negotiations. Contract with TNCs must be agreed to then actually take action. And that's, as a consultant, one of the many things where you got to be very, very careful. Do not invest too much of your time. I remember the case of a bank in Qatar that had a large Indian company engaged for 6 months. And I admit I was not partnering with the Indian company. Back then I was working with the US and German software house. And ultimately the Indian company left. We got the project, and they did not get paid for the 6 months work where they had assigned the team to work with the customer. That's one of the situations. It was not a sole consultancy agreement. It was consulting, products, and software engineering. Still, you got to manage your contract, your scope, and your terms and conditions to make sure you're going out of the customer office empty-handed. I personally believe that a serious and consulting engagement, and yes, there are smaller ones. Yes, there's sometimes one person who goes in for a couple of days, and you don't need an engagement team. Yet, in general, I see a benefit in having an engagement team and a steering committee to make sure that as the flow of the consulting project evolves according to a plan, but there's barely any consulting project that does not have significant changes as you start doing the actual work, which has a lot to do with problem statement comes from, oh yeah, we always had this problem and we really think we now need to change, we need to solve it. But the people who do that have a particular view on the situation. And only when you start doing the work, it turns out that this view was not necessarily most accurate or complete. So once you have achieved all of that, you may draft the approach. Some people might call it the solution. And then, in most cases, there's still a period of gathering data, analyzing, diagnosing, and then agreeing on the consequences of those findings. And once you have that, which certainly is a key milestone in your consultancy project, you can proceed accordingly. Anybody having any words to share? Otherwise, I'm happy to just move on. You see, I call that a general approach. There is a different one on the next page. In technological contexts, the whole process often boils down to something like you assess or analyze a particular concrete situation, you plan for how to change that, you design a hardware, software, and let's say system integration project, you implement it, and you may hand over, or you may continue to run and operate the new environment. So up there for quite a while was a quite common term. And when you go in with that mindset, you are from the get-go very much focused. It's about technology, what we're doing here. And very often technology projects in large-scale organizations have the strange side effect that the actually end users of the technology are left out in the requirements analysis. And that can cause strange effects at a point in time when you think we are now talking about acceptance testing. No, the acceptance lacks because the test is successful, but not meeting end user requirements. So making sure that the range of stakeholders that are involved one way or the other with the overall project is as complete as humanly possible. So some of these buzzwords on the way forward. You see, consulting, I touched on that when I was briefly opening the call. There are so many types of consultants these days, and so many of these consultants are a little bit, sorry if that sounds mean, but there's a large number of consultants that I would rather consider to be a one-trick pony. They have one thing that they are believing to be good at and believe this is representative for all possible problem scenarios, missing out that when they think something is a problem in that domain, and once this is fixed, everything will work, they miss out on other aspects. Hence, we have management consultants, strategy consultants, etc., etc. When you go through the list, you see that I differentiate, for example, between technology consultants and IT consultants. Technology consultants are possibly rather technologically savvy people who can work on technology strategies, while an IT consultant typically is the one who can set up a Microsoft LAN manager office environment, but does not necessarily understand that what you do in a local office environment doesn't scale into global corporate backbone networks. As a funny one, in the early 90s, I've been pretty active with ISO standards and IATF Internet Engineering Task Force, should you not have come across it. And there were meetings that we had in the US where there were people coming from Microsoft. They simply tried to promote something for wide area network backbone components that what they were trying to promote was only suitable for local area LANs. And this mindset can be extremely limiting. So what I'm suggesting here is be mindful. You see, I also have on the bottom pre-sales consultants, very product-centric typically, and very much interested in, I have a solution, whatever your problem is. And that's a little bit what this one startup company post that I shared with you a moment before is showing. So I asked, do we need various levels of depth and experience, and what are they in terms of VUCA and BANI? So I trust you all are aware of VUCA, what VUCA is. Anybody saying no? Okay, you all are. You all are aware of what BANI
Volatile,
is? Yes, go ahead.
unstable. But I don't know
Volatile.
what is bunny.
Okay, that's a term that's more modern, and we will get to that in a moment. But the first B stands for brittle. Brittle is a certain state of an organization that looks stable from the outside, but it may fall apart from the inside without any warning signals to the outside world. It also has to do with ambiguous, that it shares with VUCA. N is nonlinear. And the I is incomprehensible. It appears to be not possible to understand what is happening. What I personally believe, for some kind of organization at least, on a more global scale, is a pretty perfect description of what is happening in the markets these days. And yeah, so various levels of depth and experience. Leader must go way beyond being subject matter focused. There are people who do change management, and sadly, there's a form of doing change management that's not really transformative. Thank you, Gaurav, for having used that term before. Transformative interests or the objectives. Change management sometimes can be a pretty, we change the process, we change the procedure, and we train the people on how to do it now. And surprisingly, 3 months later, 6 months later, it becomes very visible that the people who went through the process of being trained do not actually agree with the changes. So there's all these little ways how people can boycott something without that becoming openly visible resistance. The word of foresight, way too much in itself, but let's say traditionally there's the concept of scenario planning. What are visible trends? Where's the world heading these days? And some of that is, let's say, relatively simple. One global trend is further urbanization of certain areas. I believe it is Jakarta now that's globally the largest capital, 40 million people living there. That's a very visible trend. We also do know that drink water and air quality are going to be impacted further by the level of industrialization and energy production that we have. So these are the simple trends. Foresight, especially in regard to what it means to an individual company, requires a much more refined approach. Sorry, that goes beyond what we can do here this morning. Then there's what I would call board level consulting, which says you are seriously working with the people who actually have the power. When you walk into any company's office, you may have managing agents. but most of them have certain objectives to achieve and have dependencies. Even the CEO of a company, it's a chief executive officer. It's not the chief commanding officer. Even a CEO may be at the mercy of a board. And unless you speak to the board, you may actually not be able to do strategy consulting that really has impact. Some of that at board level requires a very granular approach, as when you try to take a strong person in a mini semi-public domain heads on, that person will take you down. If you manage to have sideline discussions and, let's say, have coaching style discussions with individuals, they may start shifting their perspective, and then their behavior in the boardroom can and will change. Then there's that's not a typo, the humane side of business. It is no business has a reason to exist without people. You said it when you were looking and talking about what are key priorities of any business: providing value to customers, serving customers. Then there are the people inside the business. And some organizations on this planet have recognized and consistently act this way. When the employees understand how they contribute to providing value to the customers, they kind of naturally do certain things. If they lack that understanding, it's a bit like they are not fully engaged, they are almost a bit resistant. And that side of the business is important to understand and way more complicated than the average HR consultant understands. Hence, we're coming to the side of culture development, as anything that has to do with human interactions ultimately, indirectly or directly, influences culture. And culture, on the other hand, influences people. So a significant driver for corporation success. In business terms, there is the word of business transformation, which usually talks about the accounting style reasons. What is the cost of doing? What's the cost of not doing? What's the potential revenue gain of doing? What's the revenue loss of not doing? These type of things are often the initial drivers, but you then have to look at the full range of facets in the organization. And then there's this concept of complexity management, which overlays with some of what I already said. But basically what it says, it's non-linear cause-effect patterns, and we can be impacted by situations in the market that through our partnership network, or even in certain cases through our customer relationship networks, feed back into our organization and cause then surprising effects. Hence, some engagements go way beyond consulting. Yet, my statement is, be mindful about feeling tempted to give advice. When you agree into contracts where you promise to give advice, you inherit liability issues. And that's not what you want. That's why large management consultancy companies have two types of contracts in general. One is contract for performance, the other is contract for service. Contract for performance, you are liable for what you deliver. Contract for service, you deliver and the responsibility basically stays with the customer. Something to be kept on the back of your mind. Anybody having any thoughts that you'd like to share, questions asked or to ask, or comments to share?
Klaus, what kind of time do you envisage?
Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Okay, I will chase and skip a few slides. We have touched on most of the things that lay the foundation. Some of the other stuff that I have on the next slides would go at a slightly deeper level, and I respect your reminder of time. Thank you. How much do you give me?
Alifia, do you think like another 6 minutes can be given to Klaus?
Yeah, it's okay. I think he can take 10 minutes and then we can, discuss this and move forward and close the meeting then. So we won't
Thank
have
you.
a referral session then. We'll just
Very well.
go
Thank
deeper
you.
into this one.
Thank you. These are the two terms. This is just so you have seen them and you can memorize them. And to some extent, it really is. VUCA has been the last 30 to almost 40 years. Barney is the world as of today, and it's going to be more and more of that into the future. So something that for a consultant provides a lot of opportunity, for a business, a lot of potential headache. Your choice, do you sell painkillers or consultancy? Bit of irony in my words, just to make sure. This is the fundamental page for anything going forward, while some of you may think it doesn't concern you, and that's fair. You have your domain within which you operate, within which you act, and you may be a consultant as a subject matter expert in that domain. I'm talking about consulting on a wider scale, let's say more holistic, if you like. So I differentiate between difficult problems, complex problems, or even wicked problems. And I trust you all are very experienced and experts in systematic thinking and acting. This is good for difficult problems and for light complex problems. Systems thinking helps when you enter more complex environments. And systemic thinking is for truly complex and potentially wicked problems. And most people get to the level of systems thinking in the work that they do and the education they get. Not that many get actually into systemic thinking. So a little overview here. You see the concept of nature of thinking. Whoever speaks to me in private or in other environments, you will hear that I use words like level of thinking. You will hear words like multidimensional and deeply differentiated. And systematic usually is the acceptance, no, the expectation that something is a linear procedural approach and that this will lead to a solution. And that's just not truly the case. Systems thinking looks at structures of systems, and that's already significant progress because it understands that not a lot is simply not linear. Systemic is you understand that it is all interconnected, contextual, and cultural factors play a key role. So I'm not walking you through every field in that little matrix, but you may see systematic is focused for efficiency and consistency. Systems thinking, understanding complex system dynamics, but transforming or redesigning systems without introducing systemic thinking can't really take you very far. And anybody having any view to share here? Otherwise, I just move on. That seems to say move on. There is no two consulting engagements that are the same, even when they start with the same question. So you see different types of companies. SMEs, enterprises, multinational enterprises, or large-scale group holding organizations, you have a totally different environment to deal with. Now, there are companies that are basically a freelancer. I would dare to say a real freelancer is not a real business. Some people act as freelancers after having left corporate careers, and they have a corporate mindset. Sorry, but a lot don't. And when you deal with them as a potential customer of yours, be prepared that different frames of mind do exist. Clearly, company size plays a serious role. number of staff, volume of business in revenues and profitability, number of entities that the organization consists of, how widely is it geographically spread, and what, for example, is the use of assets. When you deal with a telco, you have a very different environment than compared to you dealing with a legal firm. So it is dependent on the sector, the industry that a business is in, what business model they are running. I said earlier on, it's a profit orientation we have here, but you may have non-profit companies that you deal with. They still have accounting, but their ultimate goal is not to generate a profit. But still, it's important for them to pay all their bills. What's the value chain of the organization? What's the supply chain this organization depends on? How is their distribution or distribution network looking like? All these factors influence dramatically what the consulting engagement may comprise. What is the life cycle stage of the organization? From startup to pre-IPO or IPO. And what's the management? What's the power distribution within the organization? What's the distribution or delegation of authority? I trust you can know RACI, responsible, accountable, consulting, informative. And ultimately, what's the company ownership structure? Is it privately held? Are there shareholders not publicly listed? Or are the owners family? Very different dynamics. So, on the other hand, of course, a company may be publicly listed. All these factors have to be looked at carefully before engaging in a true strategy consulting project. So when you work with any company, it might help to look at the organizational or the corporate structure in the sense of they are the shareholders. Even the shareholders are often not directly visible, but you may have very strong individual shareholders that are also board members. And the board is the one that sets the strategy and appoints the CEO. The CEO usually then defines the C-level members of the leadership team. And within the organization, you actually have the people who do the actual work. So you have department heads. And there's a large number of different people. I'm not reading it all out to you, but CSO can be a chief strategy officer, or it can be a chief security officer. And some people, some companies may even have a chief social XYZ officer. So very different ways of how a particular organization looks at these roles. And that's very closely related to the corporate culture of the organization. Then you have all these departments. Most companies have a finance or accounting department with a maybe chief financial officer, maybe with the head of accountant. Most companies have one way or the other, either a legal assistant or a head of a legal department. You see, it's an endless list. And yeah, of course, IT and tech belongs into it, but fundamentally, you can learn a lot about a company on, is a person a chief of something, a C-level person, or somebody head of department? That says a lot about the underlying priorities. Then any corporation is, and if we look at the UAE, I think you all are aware of that, you are strongly driven by the licensing authorities. There may be, depending on the type of business you are in, regulatory bodies. And then there's all kinds of law frameworks, legal frameworks. And some of that forces you to introduce committees into your business. And some may have a need for internal auditors, a strong legal department, etc., etc. I'm pointing here at payment systems and treasury. That's more if you're on the financial services space. So all kinds of these are actually potential stakeholders. So when we're looking at consultants' toolboxes, I think I need to close with my next page, my second next page. What are tools, what are methods, what are methodological approaches that we can use. You see here that I have the word best practice, but next practices. Best practice always is what was good yesterday. And what may have been 2 days ago was recognized yesterday, but today it's already not quite appropriate anymore for the changing market, technology, and business models that you are living and competing in. And as a consultant, it's always good to have reference data and not just start from a zero line. So how does coaching play into that? I gave a little example. The more senior the people are, the more it helps to have a capability to act like a coach. But again, forgive me for saying that, it's not necessarily what is often called life coaching. It has a lot to do with knowing how to listen and a couple of other things. Different talk, not me today. So this is my last page for today. Unless you allow me to share my very last page where there's a joke on. That would be nice. The overall business awareness model. You see, there's a strategy and there's the result of the operation of the company. So there is the organization of the company, there are the processes of the company, there are the people in the company. Here it's not explicitly referring to the systems, but it's underlying that. There's partnerships of the organization, and all of that happens in an environment where there's different types of stakeholders, there's customers and users, there's competitors and your suppliers. That is the framework for, let's say, any consulting engagement that comes close to strategic effectiveness. May I show the very last slide?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Some of you may already know it. Please read it for yourself. I take you step by step through it. There's the consultant. There's the shepherd. So this young consultant uses all kinds of technology, satellite imaging, possibly AI to count the sheep in the image, and announces the result. The shepherd, yep, that's correct. Can pick one of the sheep. Consultant walks across, grabs an animal and stuffs it into the back seat of the BMW. And then the shepherd, if I tell you what your job is, can I have my animal back? Okay. You are a consultant. The consultant freezes. How did you know that? Read the result. So thank you for your kind attention and thank you for the time you've given me to share a few thoughts. Over to you, Alifia.
I'm still figuring out. I thought he was going to take a sheep, but why did he take the dog?
Because he has absolutely no clue.
He got blinded.
He's like, give me an animal. And he took the dog. Come on.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
yeah. Sorry, Klaus, go ahead.
no, I mean, I take it you all are aware it is meant to be a punch against consultants. And sadly, there are consultants like that. They really don't know the subject they are consulting on, and they find ways to make it sound exciting, and they may actually occasionally create something that sounds like a correct piece of information. But as the shepherd says here, you told me something I already knew, then you want to charge me for it, and then you don't even know what you counted. I kind of like that story. So thank you, everybody.
Interesting. So guys, let's have a sharing. And Bharat, do you want to share the links? for the feedback?
Yeah, I will do it in a second. You continue.
Okay, so what are the biggest takeaways? Like, it was an in-depth and an intensive presentation, Klaus. Well, any sharing from anyone attending?
This was like 101 on consulting, and who better than Klaus to lead us through it. I'm sure a lot of us think of ourselves as consultants, and this clarified, or at least was food for thought on how we can kind of take our journeys forward. Thank you, Klaus.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Anybody's takeaways? Okay, great. So, Bharat, yeah? Go ahead, Bharat.
Yes. Yeah. So let me speak now, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Klaus. Being in consulting myself, this was an eye-opener and really brought a lot of value to all of us. Thank you for sharing. The key points is one specifically, which I can say, there's so much depth in consulting. And when people approach the consultants, it is so important for everyone to be very clear what is their ask. And without the ask, it's all a maze, and they will be spending time without getting proper results. So anyone who's looking at consulting may kindly put some time fixing his ask before reaching out to a consultant. That would be one wonderful way of putting it. That is one beautiful thing I could take off. I put the link in the chat and would love everyone to give a big thumbs up and a big testimonial for Klaus, who has taken extra pains. This was not easy, and he condensed it into such a short format, and we could see that he still wanted more time. So a great effort, Klaus. Back to you, Alifia.
Fantastic. So guys, we have a LinkedIn events link. We recommend, please, everyone, let's take a minute to put in some few kind words, tag Gromi, tag Klaus for that sharing, and whatever one insight or one takeaway. So let's take a minute to kind of make sure at least a few of us put something in. So there's a link in the chat.
And if you want to think, maybe after the meeting, just make sure it is done. I'll put it after the meeting.
Okay, for everyone else. Okay, so we have about 8 minutes odd, and we are about 10 people. So we can have a quick run of introduction just by everyone, and then just what you do and what you're here for. I think we all will have like about 30 to 40 seconds each, and we'll be just in time to complete the meeting. Bharat, why don't you start?
Okay, so I start. Being your extended arm, my ask is very simple. I am a consultant of sorts. My consultancy ranges specifically to Hong Kong and GBA area, what you can achieve out of this area. My ask is refer companies who are looking to expand or survive in this area. You know that this is one of the top areas which one has to watch, being the kind of technological advances China is making. So this is Bharat, your gateway to the mainland, your extended arm in Hong Kong.
Brilliant.
Alifia, can I go next? I need to go to drop my wife and then come for the meeting.
Okay.
Morning again. Wonderful session so far. My name is Gaurav Paul. I am a events person based in Dubai. I love to connect people and love networking, which is why we've been part of this platform here. My company, Confluence Events, does events for trade bodies, associations, and corporates. So if you are looking at an event in the Middle East, do connect. Thank you.
Super. Ratandeep, go now. And then we'll have Ajit.
Hi everyone, lots of love and gratitude. I'm Ratandeep Singh Mata. I'm a leadership and business manifestation coach. And I've been 8 years into this full time. And I'm looking forward to connect with aspiring C-level executives and existing C-level executives and SME founders who are looking to grow both personally and professionally via ethical means. Instead of operating out of fear, anger, and regret, if you want to operate out of love, empathy, and compassion and expand your business ethically, feel free to contact me for one-to-one coaching. Stay blessed, stay awesome. Take care.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ratandeep. Ajit, go now. Guys, quickly, there's a link in the chat if you want to put in your introductions. Most of you have already come, you know the grind. Just click and come back on today's sheet. And let's have Ajit now. Ajit? Sorry, no, so just Ajit. And then we'll have Jude after. Try to unmute yourself, Ajit, if you can.
You're
Yes.
talking to me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
My ask is very simple. I am a filmmaker looking for funds to make a feature film. So anybody who is interested in making a good film and making some money, please get in touch. My ask amount is 5.5 CR, all inclusive. And some people have already responded. I'll take it forward with them. If anybody else is interested, please let me know. Thank you.
Super. Thanks, Ajit.
Yeah.
Whose name did I say?
Should I go?
Yes, Jude, go.
Thanks, Alifia. Thanks, Klaus. I didn't feel bored at all, like the usual meetings that I always attend. So it was wonderful. You kept me at least alert. I don't know about the others, but I'll speak about myself. And as I wrote there, a truly business simulation I felt, and you brought out the slides very well. Thank you so much for making our day. Yeah, I'm Jude. I'm from Amchi, Mumbai. I come with around 15 years of experience into the counseling, now a ICF coach as well as a therapist in behavior. So I'm looking to connect with autism ADHD clinics. I have a program which I sell for doctors to help them with autism and ADHD. And in corporate line, like 70% of my life is into corporate, is more to gamification. We use this product to strategize, to help you make money, but most important for decision and negotiating skills. Going are the board days of training on PowerPoint and discussions. It's now gamification. Signing up, Julia. You can contact me. I'm looking for companies right from probably 10 CR onwards. So, and also business houses. A testimony just to share, we've got a Jain community for 1,500 next generation entrepreneurs. And we are lining up 60 at a time. So there's always work. So community is also looking out for the next generation. They can vouch us. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Nice. I'll send you a message on WhatsApp, just on the chat. You do read that, Jude. Let's have Roshni.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, all. Thanks a lot, Alifia. I'm Roshni, and I'm a certified handwriting and signature analyst. So, what I do is I analyze your handwriting and signature, and I can talk about your personality, your mindset, and your by looking at your handwriting. And And then we give a therapy, which is known as graphotherapy, wherein we write in a certain day every day to instruct our subconscious mind to change. So this is what I do. I also work with the kids to develop their handwriting scientifically. I do conduct sessions for organizations and corporates. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Rushni. By the way, guys, she's got a very in-depth process of doing the handwriting analysis, and she's like a magician. So I did one already, so I would definitely recommend
Thanks a lot.
to all our members to do it with her. She's really awesome, very professionally driven.
Thanks a lot.
Let's have Mudit.
Hey guys, good morning. This side Mudit Anurag Pagaria, your extended arm from Delhi, an advertising and commercial photographer, cinematographer who can bring your brand by giving a visual story where you can leave your legacy behind and can be your extended arm in anywhere you want. Like right now, I was in Mumbai some time back where I was shooting for the company called Monal Chains, and it was industrial shoot, and that's how we travel and do the photography for our clients. And every photograph that we shoot is not just only just capturing, but it just giving the effect that we create it in a best possible way as per your demand, one which can serve you better. So that's what we are into. Thank you.
He's your extended arm on the earth, on the planet Earth, anywhere in the world. Who's left? Anupama, you there? We're like literally 1 minute over already.
Yeah, I am, Olivia. Just getting ready
Perfect.
to come for the meeting. Uh, yes, hello everyone. Anupama here. I run a marketing communications agency called 4C Integrated Communicators. We are more like an offsite marketing department for our clients. Anybody who is interested in having their marketing blueprint for 2026, please get in touch. Here I am. Thank you, Olivia.
Super brilliant. And I'm Alifia. I run a company called Rooftop Sales. And we kind of do strategy coaching, not as in-depth as Claus showed us and taught us today. But if anyone needs any growth, business growth, sales strategy, that's what you can connect with me for. So with that note, we've heard of Klaus enough today. Klaus, do you want to introduce again? We're already 2 minutes over, but okay, great, super. But he's our genius consultant, as we all know, and definitely a go-to person for anything consulting. But with that note, let's officially call this meeting to a close. Thank you all for coming. We see you back next Saturday. If anyone want to connect with each other, let me know. But otherwise, we see you.